30,000 milliwatts of power. Broadcasting almost across the valley. AM 1620, the Eagle Radio Network.
Good morning and welcome to the Saturday Morning CEO Radio Show. I am so glad that you have joined us, whether you're watching on Fios Channel 45, Time Warner Cable Channel 0 or 126, or live streaming on YouTube, which will start in just a second because I have to hit a button. There we go. That's going to start here in a second. Or if you're listening to us on AM 1620, welcome. If you're in Europe or other parts of the world and are receiving us on satellite radio, then hello, we're glad to have you on the air. Or if you're listening to us on TuneIn Radio, we know that you can listen to us or watch us just about anywhere. And so glad to have you on the air. This is the Business Radio Talk Show where we make business fun. If you're thinking about starting a business or growing your business, and the economy's got you scared to death, we want to make you feel a little more comfortable and confident about doing what you need to do to get your business off the ground. So today we've got a special guest, and this is a really, really neat thing to talk about today because before I introduce our guest, I just want to remind you that about the way the economy's been going. I have 6 children, 4 boys and 2 girls, so I know firsthand that it's becoming a little more difficult for younger people to get the kind of jobs that they normally get. You'll see, for instance, you'll notice that the age of the sign spinners has gone up. The age of people working at fast food restaurants has gone up. So people who are not able to find a job within their typically stereotypical type of job or career field are taking the jobs of the younger folks. So you're younger and you're thinking, I want to start my own business, but I am too young and inexperienced. Well, we're going to fix that for you over the next hour. Today we have Emily McKellar. Emily is 21 years old. Is that correct? Yeah. 21. And she has started she's a student here at Mount San Jacinto College in San Jacinto. Are you here or at the Menifee campus? Menifee campus. Oh, I just turned your mic on here. There you go.
There we go.
Say hello.
Hi.
So the Talon is, for about a decade, there was no school newspaper.
Yes.
And so she decided with a group of friends to come together and get the newspaper started, which is just like starting a business. So that's my, if you saw our promotions on Facebook, I said, I started my first business when I was 9 years old, and I've never been without one since. And you are never too young, and you should start something. And this is just like a business, and you're learning some things, aren't you, Emily?
Yes.
So, Emily, why don't you introduce, and we have Matthew Payne, who will be on here in a little bit. He is with us here on YouTube, and we'll bring him up on the big screen here in a little bit. And he assisted Emily in this process of getting the Talon going. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself first, Emily, so that people can relate to you and realize that you're not, some just magical whiz person who can do all this stuff, that anybody could do it if they try hard enough.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I'm a student, and I like to... Okay. I'm a student, and I have always been in journalism since high school. And when I came to MSJC, they said, there's no newspaper. So originally, another guy started it. He started the club, and then he put out his own publication, and then I took over, and we started the Talon. And that was it.
So tell me where the name, how about the name of the paper? Where did that
Talon.
come from?
I think that we had like a group meeting and we were just throwing around names. Like we wanted something to be associated with the eagle. That's our mascot. So and somebody, I don't think, yeah, it wasn't me. It was somebody, some other brilliant person, and they said, why not the Talon? And it was perfect because it's an eagle and it's kind of like information at your grasp. You kind of get that vibe from it. So.
Well, very good. And you brought up already a point that is important for any business, is that you involved other people. So team building is a big part of running a business. And you gave credit where credit was due, that somebody else came up with a name. So I'm going to be pointing out these business-related things as you talk about them, because you may or may not even recognize that these are huge deals. So we'll point that out to all our listeners and viewers out there today. And I'm going to switch around our software here a little bit so that you guys can see Matthew here in a minute. And Matthew, I'm going to bring you on here, and I want you to tell me a little bit about Emily and about this process here. I think we've got you live. Can you say something, Matt?
Can you hear me?
Hey, we can hear you. And let me switch camera to you. Here, I didn't even switch the camera yet to Emily. That's pretty bad. Wait, here, let's get Emily. Hey, there's Emily. Okay, everybody wave. Hey, all right. Now we're going to get you on here. Let's see. There you are. Let's get you on the big screen.
Hi, Matt.
Hey. Yeah, this is pretty exciting. It's not every Saturday morning you go on the radio. So.
Well, that's great. Well, so tell us a little bit about, speak right into your mic there, and tell us a little bit about your experience with getting the Talon going, and tell us what a great person Emily is.
So Emily, I don't know, in my mind, she kind of roped me into something a lot bigger than I was expecting, but we weren't friends to begin with. She sort of saw me as a strategic partnership. I knew a lot about the school. I was the PR guy for our student government. I was connected with all the clubs, and she hunted me down and said, I want you. And I felt like I didn't really have a choice, so I took on the Talon with her, and wow, what an incredible experience it has been. The lessons, and just it's been awesome. Emily's fantastic.
Well, that's great. Well, Emily, I'm going to put you back on and give you a chance to defend yourself there. So it sounds like it wasn't even an equal game like on Match.com or something. You just roped him in and told him you needed to get. He mentioned the word strategic partnership, which we use in business a lot. So how did you see him strategically helping with the paper?
Everything he said is true. I was looking for a graphic designer, and we were getting nervous because you need a graphic designer to put together the paper, and it was getting down to it was getting far along, and everyone was like, where are we gonna get a graphic designer? And I was like, everyone just calm down, we'll find one. And then I asked around, and Matt, he designed things for our school, and I saw it and I was like, wow, it's fantastic. He's so talented. And so I was just really aggressive, and I was like, I really need you to just design something. And then he ended up, originally he was just going to do the logo, but then he ended up putting the whole thing together. And I love working with him. He just knows what looks good, and he has the experience, and we have so much fun working together. So
I've come to the conclusion that the reason why we work so well together is because we're both very strong-headed, and we're not afraid to offend each other. So she yells at me and I yell at her, and somehow so we get things done at the end of the day.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because that is part of the process. There's a process. I also, in addition to have running some multi-million-dollar companies over the years and consulting with others that have grown through economic challenges, I also am a professor of business. So one of the things that we talk about in team building is that there's a forming, storming, and there's different stages. And the storming part is where everybody kind of disagrees and starts finding their place, and that's part of that process of building a team. Right after you form it is you do run into some little brick walls here and there, and that's important to get through. So why don't you talk about that a little bit, rather than just saying, yeah, we did yell at each other a little bit here and there. What were some of the challenges that you had when you started with this crazy idea of getting this paper going?
Did you want me to? Okay. Well, it was just like the design, the layout, how many pages, and then also outside of design was, advertising, and also the process of how our school was going to accept advertising. I mean, we're a whole different process with a newspaper, and
I felt, if you don't mind if I butt in real quick here, Emily, we kind of had two different perspectives taking this project on. Emily hadn't really experienced a lot with how the bureaucracy of our school works, and that was something that I was well versed in. And so I would sort of coach her and say, Emily, you can't really do this. That's not going to fly with the administration. And she'd be like, no, to hell with that. Like, I'm doing it. This is my paper. And so I sort of had to tame her down and get her on a more realistic level with how this, how we could take it in a direction that was actually going to work. So that was a big challenge at first, but really, it was kind of smooth sailing right from the beginning, because she trusted my marketing experience, and we worked really great together, and there was a lot of interest in it. You have a great idea when a bunch of people are really excited about it, and so that really helped us out a lot.
yeah, he marketed the whole thing. I just worry about the content and the articles inside, really, but he's markets it and puts it all together.
So where did you get some experience with marketing at your young age?
Yeah, so I was the advertising guy for Marietta Valley High School. I was heavily involved in student government. That led to a job in Menifee, where I was working for a t-shirt company doing graphic design and marketing. Tri-Lakes Sportswear is what the name of that is. I worked for them for 3 years. It really gave me a place to grow and explore. And I took that knowledge and I put it into student government at MSJC, and I used it, to help create the Talon. And it's something that I'm going to use for the rest of my life. I keep realizing how important the marketing component is to really getting your ideas out there, and being an entrepreneur. That marketing is just so important.
So tell me then, Matthew, when she first approached you with this idea, you probably felt the passion from her that she had for it. Did you develop that passion right away, or have you ever developed it? And if you have, at what point in the process did that take place?
Yeah, I don't want to make you feel like I'm a prisoner to this magazine, although at times I feel that way too.
He is.
I fell in love with the Talon, and I really believed in the idea that, students need to have a voice too. And it's really easy for, faculty and administration to want to control, the message that gets out there. But, we need some time to shine too. And that's something that I really fell in love with. And, the Talon became my every waking moments, to the suffering probably of my health and my sleeping patterns and my grades a little bit. But it's something that, now that I'm gone, I'm no longer in California. I'm serving with a program called AmeriCorps NCCC. It's a service program, and I'm starting a magazine here for our group of Corps members, and I know that the Talon will be a huge launching pad into my career and my passions. So
Well, you bring up a good point. So you're still involved with the Talon, even though you're far away. Is that correct?
yeah, and beauty of technology.
Right. So let's talk about that for a minute. A lot of young people that are wanting to start a business are thinking, "Gosh, I don't know what to do." And some people still look at businesses as the local Subway shop or hair salon, or what kind of business can I start? Let's talk about technology for a minute, and talk about our viewers and our listeners out there today are probably thinking, "Gosh, what could I do?" So what are some other ideas that you can think of, or how has technology played a role in what you guys are doing? I mean, you guys don't have a corner shop that you're paying a lease for, right? So so there's not a lot of overhead, but let's talk about technology for a while, and then we'll talk about I know that, Emily, you mentioned that you get some advertisers and stuff, so we'll talk about financing of it probably after the break. We'll take a break in about 3 minutes. And so during this time, let's talk about how technology has helped you not only with communication together as team members, but getting the talent out there. Emily, you want to talk about your Facebook
Yes.
page there and maybe some other items?
Which Matt made. Matt made the Facebook page. Didn't have to do anything. But yeah, it's facebook.com/MSJC Talon if you want to check it out. That's also, I mean, that's helped us, stay connected with the students. And also our newspaper, it's online. If you go to msjc.edu/the Talon, I think, our issues are online, and that's also helped us reach, people, and it's also emailed out to every single student. So they don't have to, look for it on campus. They can just check their email. So it makes everything a lot easier.
Yeah, and so I would go off that and say, if you have this idea, you really need to establish your base. Who is your audience? Get a list of email addresses down in a database, because we have so many tools available to us, our generation, YouTube and Facebook and email and Skype, where you don't have to have a brick and mortar store. You don't have to be in front of the person you're collaborating with. Me and Emily Skype all the time. Here I'm in West Virginia, she's in Southern California, but she can still ask me for advice on, what do I want to do next year for the Talon, or, I'm struggling with this. So I would just say, run with the tools that you have, and they're really going to serve you in making an effective idea work.
Yeah, looking at what your background was in both marketing and technology, and your writing background, Emily, when you guys came together, you had some other team members that have got involved. Is that correct? What were some of those strengths that they had? We've got about a minute before we go to break, so why don't you highlight a little bit about what some of the other people brought to the table when you put that team together?
Well, we have a good group of really great writers who enjoy it, and you have to enjoy it because it's kind of like another homework assignment, having to write another article. So I love them, that they're enthusiastic about it. So the writers, and we also have another graphic designer, since Matt is across country. So it was great, finding him, and he's been a good part. He's been easy to work with, and he's talented as well. And he also does photography, and we also have we had another photographer, but he just transferred, and he was fantastic. So it's just all those parts, they make up a really good team.
Well, very good. I'm glad to hear you got a good team together. And when we come back from break, we're going to talk a little bit about how the financing happens for this college newspaper. And we'll be back in just a minute. Enjoy the break.
You must be your fairy godmother?
Cinderella's dream comes true because the glass slipper fits.
It fits.
In our world, the right fit can be just as important, especially when it comes to car seats. Always choose a car seat that's the right fit for your child's age and size to make sure your little pumpkin gets there safely every time.
Hop in, dear. Thank you.
For more information, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. This message has been brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Chris, can you put the video game controller down for a second?
I can talk and play. Oh, I'm totally annihilating this punk kid in Nebraska.
I just feel like you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
Well, you still ride your skateboard to work, there's the comic book collection, the race car bed.
Look, I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I picked up a few savings tips at feedthepig.org. I have control of my financial life now, and that feels pretty grown up.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1,000,000. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. For free ideas and easy tips on ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
So, I bet I look like a grown-up to you now.
Well, except for the footy pajamas, I'd have to agree.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Saturday Morning CEO Radio Talk Show. We are here with our guests, Emily and Matthew, who have orchestrated and got up and running the Mount San Jacinto Talon, which is the newspaper for the College of Mount San Jacinto. And I guess it covers all the campuses, right? Is there 4 different campuses?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay. Well, we have just a reminder for you, too, if you wanted to be watching us right now on Verizon Fios, Channel 45 in the county of Riverside, and also in Riverside on Time Warner Cable, Channels 0, that's us, on 0, and 126. So you're welcome to join us either of those 2 places. If you'd like to see my mug, then you'll enjoy it visually, too. Visually stimulating radio. So... Well, what we want to talk about now is financing of the Talon. So when you came up with this idea, you wanted to put it together, you got some graphic guys, but it's going to cost you some money to print this thing. And so did the school I probably just gave you a big budget to work with? Is that right?
No.
No? You mean there was a challenge in starting this?
Yes, but we were lucky. Our first one, we had an administrator. She was very generous, and she paid for the first one. And then I think our next 2 were paid by the foundation, and then they said after that we won't be able to help you anymore. So we've had to advertise and fundraise.
And going off that, a really important thing that we did was we had the Talon done. We had our websites up, our business cards printed, our first issue done, so we could show these people that we wanted to partner with, like, look at what a great thing this is. So having everything set up and done was really essential to our success.
That's a key point, and I just want to stay on that point for a minute too. It's very difficult to raise funds with an idea.
Absolutely.
Know, you can unless you've got some friends and family that really believe in you and are going to trust your opinion and feel like you're really you got some stuff on the ball and you've had some prior successes, then you've got to be able to show them this is what we've already accomplished. Had you not had that support from the department the first time around, you would have been stuck with trying to do that too, and maybe you would have had to graphic design some, layout of what it might look like, and put some fake ads in there and, have something to show them that they can put their hands on. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I didn't just want my friends and family to support me. I wanted people that had never met me to really get behind it and say, wow, this is a great idea. Our school needs this. And, that's what happened is we had countless professors come to us and say, this is fantastic. We need this. We need, student events and opportunities published in this paper. So it was very organic and, yeah.
Well, you guys are going to have one of your best articles ever, from what I understand, is coming up probably in your next issue, because Emily did interview me about the radio show here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And all of our listeners and viewers are going to want to get in there and read that.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to
go and check, Dennis.
Yeah. Yeah. She said you guys were going to send me a big fat check for helping out. And well, listen, I'm going to show on the air here real quick what the paper what the website looks like. So Emily was correct. It's msjc.edu/thetalon, TheTalon, and it brings you to this page, and then you can go back here. Looks like you've got back issues on here, and the link to
open one of those up. Give them a peek.
Here we go. Back issue. So which one was the good one you like?
You can do the first
Christmas
one.
edition.
Yeah, I
like that one.
Christmas edition. Here we go. For those of you on the radio, it's yellow, it's red, it's white, it's pretty. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. So if you can't see it on the air, don't pull your car over and stare at your radio. You won't be able to see it. But if you're watching on television right now, you can see beautiful, incredible graphic work, and something about scholarships.
You can see that we're highlighting student achievement. The front page, it says 72 students, earned scholarships. And this is a way to get the word out to other students on campus. Hey, this is how you go about getting scholarships. The biggest struggle I found in community college is that kids the opportunities are out there for them, but they just don't know where to look. So this is a great way to put that information in there.
Oh, that's great. I love this. Very, very well done.
Yeah, and with our articles, we hope to create more of a community on campus as well. So we feature our, students and professors and a board of trustees and different programs, our SGA executive board, to keep students informed.
Right. So here's a Starbucks ad here. So that's good. But they fit it right in, didn't they? Free Starbucks for your finals.
Matthew actually designed that ad. Starbucks should send him a check.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, and if you can see right, you're looking at now, we're featuring some administrative staff, and there's really kind of a disconnect between the administration and the students. We want to make the students realize that the administration really are your friends, and at the end of the day, they really have your best interests in mind. And so that's part of our aim as well, is warming, creating a warm impression of administration by featuring them.
Well, I think you're really on to some things that are important in any business, and that is that you didn't just put together the idea of making a pretty paper, but you're looking at things like, let's increase the relationship between students and the faculty or the administration. And so you've got some kind of ulterior motives as you put this together, which are positive for the school.
Absolutely. And that's the greatest thing about being an entrepreneur, is when you have a good idea, you get to make it happen. And that's what we get to do. We get to put our ideas into practice.
So what's your advice for, let's talk specifically about somebody that is at a school that doesn't have a paper right now. What would you give them as advice if you weren't really on the air right now talking to a whole bunch of people, you were just sitting one-on-one at a table with that person, what would you tell them to watch out for and what to make sure to do?
Emily, you go for it, and then I'll give my advice.
Okay. I would tell them just to go for it because, MSJC is a school that has no journalism courses and no journalism departments and, nothing. And so to have to start a newspaper there is just like mind-blowing. I can't believe it. And so you need someone that is passionate and dedicated about it, and then you need to find a graphic designer that can bring it to life, make the product. And you need a really good, dedicated advisor, and that's what we have. And he's just amazing, and he just helped us through everything. So those are like the three main elements, and then a good group of people that are also interested in that and interested in trying, and they're dedicated, and you can find that.
And how did you find the team that you wanted to put together?
I think it was just through word of mouth. I know people were talking about it on campus, through friends.
We actually did a series of ads seeking people to join our team, and so that's really important. Do an ad campaign that says "Join our team" and become a part of this great thing, and that gave us a lot of leads as well.
So how did you handle this? Is kind of like a hiring process type thing, except it's volunteers, so it's a little different. But yeah, I'm sure that you probably had to, and don't say any names on here, but you probably had to filter out those group of people that were interested and find the ones who really did care about wanting to be part of it, and maybe just didn't want their name on the list of students that was helping, and they weren't really helping.
Mm-hmm.
Have you run into that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've had that problem of having to, because in our first issue we just asked for everything. You can send in anything you want, so we did have to filter that and edit. And some people, the editing process, I find it's easier to sit down with them and teach them because it is all new to them. So, but people, they'll show up and then they'll weed themselves out if they think it's too much, because it is a lot of work. So once they see how much it is.
Going off that's kind of where my heart broke, and where Emily is, she's a lot colder than I am, because she would sit here.
The truth comes out.
Oh yeah, no, you have no idea. Okay, so she asks people to write her articles, and somebody spends 5, 6, hours over a series of days in their tight schedule, writing up what they think is their masterpiece. And Emily, in the drop of a hat, is willing to say, this isn't good and it's not going in my paper. And here I'm like, that's my friend. Like, what? How could you possibly do that? But, I'm really glad that I have her, because I would just tell everybody they could include everything, when in reality, you have to focus on good content. And so
Matthew is my better half. He's a lot nicer. Whereas he's very friendly about, the school is your friend. I'm more like, no, the newspaper also has to question and monitor the school and question the people who are running the school. And that's also an important reason why we have the newspaper. And with every issue, we try to go further into those issues. But our first issue was very in support of the school, because they have supported us a lot. So.
No, very good. Yeah, you do have to. You don't want to bite the hand that feeds you, so to speak. They've given you permission to do all this, and so there's got to be a balance between students' voices being heard and the keeping that channel open for their voices to be heard. So how about the what kind of reception did you get at the beginning from administration, and what do you have now? Has that changed?
No, I think it was really supportive in the beginning, right, Matt? And I don't think it has changed. I think it's more.
I think the thing about administration is when they see somebody that comes to them and with something that's already done, like we said, it kind of goes along with the quote that, people might not believe what you say, but they believe what you do. And kids our age, we have a lot of ideas, but what really is that extra thing is, do you have what it takes to overcome the challenges, to bring it into reality? And so, that's what we showed administration. We're serious. We have it done, and they really got behind us. So it was very good.
So you did have to sell to somebody without having did you have something already laid out to show them?
Yeah, we had done our first issue.
No, for the administration, before you got the permission to.
No, we didn't. He just laid it out, and Karen Marriott, the marketing director of the school, she really helped us, proofed the content, make sure everything was okay, and that's what we showed her. That we just sent it in, and that was it.
Okay, so you gave administration content of what you would put in the first issue?
No, we just put together the first issue, and then we emailed it to Karen and said, "Will you look at this? Is this okay?"
Okay.
We had the first issue done. We were a little bit worried, or I was worried. I was thinking they were just going to say no. You're overstepping your bounds. You can't do this. But they approved it, and we sent it out to print. So.
Do you think that the fact that you had that work that you already put into it, you took a risk to invest that time and energy to put that in, do you think that's a key piece of advice for anybody that's thinking of starting a business?
Absolutely essential. It's absolutely essential with whatever you do. You have to show people you've already invested and that you believe in it. Really show them that, and you're going to be successful.
So risk is definitely a key word for people that want to be entrepreneurs. If you're not willing to take a risk, go get a job somewhere. And I think that's more risk because, you could be told goodbye any day. That's why I enjoy being an entrepreneur. I've always said that change is always good if you've got your hands on the steering wheel. So
absolutely. You know what? Going off that, I kind of felt bad at first because when I realized my hands are on the steering wheel, I felt a little bit guilty, and I thought, should I have this much power? Here I can publish, what I want about our school, and I can, say I want you to write this or I want you to write this. But don't be intimidated by that, level of control, because if you've got a good heart and your values are in the right place, you're going to do the right thing as it should be done. So don't be intimidated by the responsibility that taking on that risk and power brings on.
Very good. Well, we've got about 2 minutes before we take our next break. And I wanted to remind everybody that we have our assistant, MJ, is tweeting this show this morning. So if you wanted to go watch the tweets, I think she got a little late start with it here, but it should start up here pretty soon. And she is on SM Radio. That's for Saturday Morning Radio, smradio.org/tweet. And it'll take you right to the page, and you'll be able to tweet, yourself. You can comment back to anything. If you have any questions for our guests, for Emily or Matthew today, please feel free to tweet it at us, and we'll try to answer those questions for you. So when we come back, I would like to talk. We've still got a little bit of time to chit chat some more on this topic. But when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the team relationship that you have with everybody, because that's important. Even if I always tell people, you've got to have a support team, and it doesn't matter if they're paid or not. You've got to have a friend that's an attorney that you can say, hey, I got to ask you this question. I'm a little worried about this happening or that happening, or you have somebody that is very good with whatever, and you say, hey, I need some advice. Would you mind sharing this with me? And so without that team, I think that we're all alone, and we can only do the things that we know how to do. So what's your? We've just got a few minutes before we get a break here, a few 40 seconds or so. Do you think that without the team that any one person could have really pulled this off? Emily?
No, I need my team to write articles and, put it together, and be there to cover events and interview people. It would just be to do that and go to school by myself. It would just be impossible. And I'm really grateful for the people that came forward and are taking time out to do this.
Excellent. Well, we've got about 10 seconds here, so we'll talk about the team, and then I also want to talk about what the two of you have done in the past and what you plan on doing in the future. And until we come back, enjoy the break.
For the California Dental Association, Christy Yamaguchi.
As an Olympian and daughter of a dentist, I know the importance of having healthy teeth and a bright, healthy smile. Tooth decay is the #1 childhood disease, more than asthma and obesity. That's why a new state law requires that kindergartners receive a dental checkup. So parents, prepare your children for school. Take your child to see a dentist. It'll make you smile too.
For more information, call 800-CDA-SMILE.
Do you suffer from the heartbreak of brain rot, feeling bored, sluggish, listless, not had a new idea in days, using electronic gizmos without a clue why they work? Now there's help. Ham radio, guaranteed to stimulate your corroding neurons and open a whole new world of excitement. To learn more about ham radio, go to helloradio.org.
Side effects of ham radio usage include mental stimulation, desire for education, new career paths, understanding of technology, and cases of addiction have been reported. If you experience any of these symptoms, you're welcome.
Ham radio. It's not your granddaddy's radio anymore.
They were outnumbered, out-equipped. They had no chance of winning, but they had one huge advantage: General George Washington.
The fate of unborn millions will now depend, under God, on the courage and conduct of this army. We have to resolve to conquer or die.
Just as the leadership of one man helped form a nation, today leadership can transform the world. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
It's like FM without the commercials. It's like XM without the quality. It's AM 1620, the Eagle Radio Network.
Welcome back from break to the Saturday Morning CEO Radio Show. We are back on the air here with Emily and Matthew, the early founders of the San Jacinto Talon, the newspaper for Mount San Jacinto College. And just to remind our folks, if you're on the radio on AM 1620, you can also hear us on smradio.org/audio, and that will take you right to streaming live on the internet, or you can watch us on channel 45 of Verizon Fios, channel 0 or 126 of Time Warner Cable. We're all over the place, so you can find us somewhere, I promise. So Emily and Matthew, we said right before the break we wanted to talk a little bit about the team. And is there magic with the team, or is it a struggle sometimes, or what would you say about the team in general?
It is magic. It's magical, but there's always struggles.
Don't sugarcoat it, Emily.
There you go.
There's struggles. Yeah, no, I was going to say, yeah, there's definitely struggles. We're a club. We're the Eagle's Eye Journalism Club, And I actually stepped down from president to let my friend Shanice become president, so I could focus more on the newspaper itself. So, but yeah, we have meetings, and we definitely have, you know, conflicts and different opinions, and it's working with different personalities. That's the thing is about business, is having to work with different personalities and making sure that you find, you know, what they're good at and using that. So
Yeah, I recall an experience in particular where me and Emily went to a meeting, and, you know, everybody sitting around the table just looked so apathetic. And, you know, that's a hard thing to do, to give people energy about something. But I remember giving them a pep talk and saying, like, we need you to be excited about this paper. If you're not excited, no one else is going to be. So if that's not your passion, then I need you to leave, because, you know, it's so important.
Very good. Yeah, passion's an important part of making sure, and well, not only passion, but you've got to show the passion.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if I said, "Hello, listeners, welcome to the radio show,"
that'd be a nightmare.
I might have just had some people turn it off, actually, too. So, you've got to have your energy level up and share your enthusiasm, even when there are challenges and you're maybe fighting with each other over this article or that article. Dewey and I had a person who, gosh, I hope she's not listening right now, but interviewed me on her blog radio channel, and then wanted to be on our show, and we thought, oh yeah, sure, you know, I was on hers, she should be on ours. And then we went and looked at the website wasn't really professionally developed yet, and some other things, and I won't get into all the details because then she'll know who she is. But so, you know, we let her know that we're booked for a while, and that happens sometimes with a team. Is you've got to, for the sake of the project that you're doing, you need to make sure that you've got the right people on the team.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So what I want to talk about now is I want to take some time, and Emily, we'll start off with you, and I want to ask you some questions about what you've done. Have you done anything like this before, where you kind of took the bull by the horns and said, let's make something happen, even if it was a lemonade stand, or, you know, you can go way back.
Well, no, in high school I did the same thing as I did with the Talon. I started the newspaper at Heritage High School in Menifee, the Patriot Press.
Great. Menifee, great city, by the way. We had the mayor on the last week, or the week before, I mean, Scott Mann. So, I'm sorry, Squirrel. So you started that in high school, and did anything else that you were involved in prior to that?
I was just, in freshman year at Paris High School, I got involved with the newspaper, and that kind of started my passion for it. And then when I went over to Heritage, you know, I brought that, and with it, you know, with a group of students, I started the newspaper there too. And then just after high school, I worked for the Valley News, worked for Menifee 24/7, and that's how I, you know, learned about journalism and become passionate about it. But before that, I just liked writing, and that was what happened.
So so it was through journalism that you really became involved. It wasn't so much wanting to run a project. It was more you wanted an avenue for you to be able to write. Is that correct?
Yes, but I also journalism is very different from just, like, you know, creative writing. It's just there's so many other focuses, and but I enjoy running the newspaper. I have that business side to me where Matt says I'm very cold. That's where I enjoy that aspect of it, and working with different people and being organized and putting it all together. So I like that my writing has led me to, you know, other avenues.
And did you read a lot as a kid also?
Yeah, and I wouldn't say like as much as like a lot. I wasn't like a bookworm. I read and I enjoy reading, but not a lot like others. I know other students, but
she was too busy creating newspapers.
Yeah.
Right. That's excellent to hear. So I want to talk to Matthew. Let's talk about your background and what you've done before in either you know, graphics or marketing or business stuff as a kid.
Yeah, so I remember when I was a little kid, I my mom, she cleaned houses, and she took me with her sometimes. And there was this guy who had this beautiful home in Salt Lake City. And, I asked her, like, Mom, what does this guy do? And she said, he's an entrepreneur. And, so whenever anybody would ask me what I wanted to do when I get older, I'd say, I want to be an entrepreneur. And I didn't even know what that word meant until high school. But it's so funny because, now I realize that that is what I want. I want creative freedom, and I love coming up with ideas. In fact, it feels almost like a disease that I have, being an entrepreneur. I constantly have to be starting projects and expanding my horizons, but it's led to some awesome things. In high school, it led me to being, the guy in charge of all advertising. And I had no idea, how to advertise, the principles related to it, but I picked those up later in college. And, it's trial and error, and you just got to go out there and do it. Fake it till you make it is the saying I like to live by.
Very good. And I connect with you very well because I have been infected by that bug since I was 9 years old, starting my own business. So I completely understand that. And I always tell people too that it is a different life because, I've made the big six figures and have run, met the $1 million revenue marks, and I've also crashed businesses to the ground at raging speed. So I'm grateful I found a wife who is A-OK with cooking beans or steak, whichever's on the menu or on the budget. And but being an entrepreneur and being able to see an idea come to life and to fruition, that's really what should motivate people too in some way. Do you feel that way, Emily? Even though you really wanted to get into this for the writing reasons, can you see the joy in the creation of this?
Yes, I think every time it comes out, I'm always shocked that, like, wow, we actually made it. Because I remember with Matt, we had a few nights where just like all-nighters, and it was stressful, and there were tears and blood, sweat, and tears. And I'm always like, oh my God, every time
she cries when she gets stressed, but it's all right. She keeps going.
Well, before the show started, she said that you were the one that cried when you get stressed. So
okay. She thinks that since I'm on the other side of the country, she can talk badly about me. But it is.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you guys have finished through, gotten through some of those challenges. So you've talked about your background. I'm going to talk to Emily first here, and Emily, tell us a little bit about what your plans are for the future as it relates to entrepreneurship or business ideas.
Well, I hope to transfer to a UC soon and, join their newspaper and work my way up in their newspaper, and then probably have a career in journalism, maybe like 60 Minutes, working for, reporting for them, or like, National Geographic, or
there you go.
Vogue.
She has high hopes.
New York City. Yeah.
Good. I've got some contacts with some of those, so yep, we'll stay in touch.
Wow.
See how your career goes.
Strategic partnerships.
Well said. Well said. So Matthew, I'm going to switch camera over to you here, and tell us what some of your future plans are. You're out doing some kind of service right now, is that right? Tell us a little bit about that and what you plan on doing after.
Yeah, so what I did is I'm dedicating 10 months of my life to the federal service program called AmeriCorps NCCC, and what they do is we go around into communities across the country doing different service work, from building homes for Habitat for Humanity to working with FEMA responding to disasters. And one of the beautiful things about my marketing experience from the newspaper and high school is that I'm applying it to my passion, and my passion truly is service. So as far as the future goes, I'm looking for opportunities to work with the Corporation for National and Community Service and AmeriCorps to, how do we get people excited and engaged about, giving back to their communities. So that's my plan.
Matthew is the most giving person I know.
No, that's great. Well, that service is a key word that I think we need to spend a minute on, because in service, if you can service your customers or your constituents or your whatever it may be, if you're running a nonprofit, for-profit, or some other organization, whoever it is that you serve, you need to realize that you are serving them. And as you learn the intricacies of service, then I think success just follows. A lot of people go look for success and money and set aside service, and they think, well, that's something I'll do later when I'm rich. But it is the process of serving that you learn how to become successful. I know my son, Michael, just got back in May. He served 2 years with his church on a mission in Peru, in Lima, Peru area, and all he did was serve for 2 years. And he has a new set of eyes, and he's got a new language he speaks too. He came back home, he's trying to learn English again. But he has a new viewpoint, a new worldview of the importance of serving other people. So I want to congratulate both of you on the great service that you've given to the students and the community.
Thank you. For
Mount San Jacinto. And I'm glad that you guys are seeing that at such a young age. So let me ask you each just one question, the same question, and then I'm going to move on to my final segment where I'm going to go over crazy business ideas, and I'm actually going to talk about childhood businesses today. So I want to get one gold nugget that you can think of advice for someone in their early 20s that wants to start some kind of business. What would be that golden nugget idea? And Matthew, I'll start with you, and we'll end with Emily.
All right. A mentor of mine once told me that life is like a game of whack-a-mole, and you're going to stick your head out, and there's always going to be someone there standing with a big foam stick to hit you over the head with. But keep sticking your head out of the hole, and so that would be my advice to people out there listening. And as well, if you're in the area at Mount San Jacinto College, find us and talk to us. We want you to be a part of this team so you can also get some pretty valuable experience.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Matthew. And let's go now to Emily. And what's your gold nugget of advice for our listeners and viewers?
I'm going to talk about my own mentor and our advisor of our newspaper, Alex Quittock. He works at MSJC, and he always told me that, it's important to serve others. People in college have this mentality that it's, survival of the fittest. They only focus on them, and it's important to stop and think of other students and help them out on your way to success. And that's what we're trying to do with the Talon.
That's excellent. Build other leaders, and your leadership capabilities will increase immensely. So very, very good. Well, thank you both for being on the air today, and I think our listeners and viewers have definitely benefited from the wonderful advice that you've given them. So we're going to thank you. Now, I'm going to let you guys stay on the air here in case you want to add some comments to my crazy business ideas. And let's start this off. And let me find my, where's my magical music here? No, I don't want to change. How do I change that? No, I want to go to this. Yes, yes, yes. Click. Here we go. And now the crazy, loony, weird business ideas that we're going to discuss will start right now. All right, today I'm going to talk about CEOs of companies that started businesses as kids. And if you're watching on television right now, then you can actually tune in and look at these with me. So Seth Goldman, who started a company called Honest Tea, as a young boy, he started a business of collecting abandoned golf balls. He got all the baseballs off the golf course. Golf balls off the golf course. And he would resell them to empty-handed golfers. And that's how he got started in business. He'd climb through the bushes and find all the extra golf balls and sell them to the golfers. Katrina Markov, who started, and I hope I know I mispronounced this, but Vasquez Hot Chocolate, which is a big company now, at age 7, gosh, that's even younger than me. She started making things with her Easy Bake Oven. Some of you may be old enough to remember it. Others are scratching your head going, what the heck is that? A little child's toy, basically, but you could actually cook things in it. So she did that. Later, she increased her training by going to the Cordon Bleu and learning how to be a chef. And her company now, Vasquez Hot Chocolate, sells over $17 million of her creative chocolate treats. So she has done very well by starting off with the Easy Bake Oven. And I think she makes her chocolates in probably bigger ovens now. That would be my guess. Devon Rifkin, who started the Great American Hanger Company. He makes hangers and sells them to all big companies like Bloomingdale's and Nike. And so he's definitely not hung up in his business. He is. That's right. When he was young, he was 10 years old. Devin started buying blow pop lollipops from his local drugstore and selling them to his classmates. And later on, his mom used to buy them by the box, and he would sell those as a young man. So they say there's a sucker born every day. He probably had a sucker sold every day and started making some money there. Let's talk about it. Some of you have probably heard of Zappos. Have you both heard of Zappos?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think I've bought stuff from there.
There you go. Yeah, that's a shoe store. I think they sell other stuff too. But Tony, she Hsieh. I can't think of his name. My friend is going to get mad at me for butchering his name. He's been involved with him a long time. The CEO of Zappos. He made $100 each month by selling photo buttons by mail. So he would take pictures, all kinds of stuff. People would actually send him some pictures, and he would stamp them into these pins that you would click on your clothing. And at 12 years old, he would turn these photos into buttons and click them on your hat and backpacks and all other things. So he started out that way as an entrepreneur. And shoes now are his thing, and I guess it's okay. It's a good-sized business, about $1 billion in gross sales in 2008. This is another 7-year-old, Jenny Craig. Have you heard of Jenny Craig? Anybody?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. The weight loss queen, right? So as a 7-year-old girl, she received a penny for every hard-shell crab that she could catch in Lake Pontchartrain down in Louisiana, just north of I can't think of it. New Orleans. Thank you, Dennis. Let the brain work today. And so she would get money for every crab that she caught, and she caught up to 3 dozen crabs in a single day. And her mother would then sell those to the local restaurants. So Jenny Craig is now as a household name, and I always think this is kind of funny, but I'll mention it and see if you can see the humor in it. She started this comprehensive weight loss program and turned it into a huge empire. In June of 2006, she sold her company for $600 million to Nestle.
Wow.
We see the humor in there, Nestle. And weight loss, I don't know. Are they trying to create their own business for weight loss by producing yummy foods? Anyway. All right, so there's my my little thought on that. Here's another, Aaron Kennedy, who started Noodles and Company.
Which is so good, by the way.
There you go. Oh, you're familiar with them.
Oh, it's so good.
$200 million in revenue a couple years ago. 12-state franchise of restaurants, Noodles and Company. When he was 8 years old, Aaron started 2 seasonal businesses. One was greeting cards in the fall, and then he would sell vegetable seed packets door to door in the spring. So he said, I sold to anybody that I could get to on my bicycle. So that was his only limitation, was how far he could ride his bike. So these are ideas. If you're young and you're listening to this show or watching us and can actually see some of this stuff here, this is amazing. You know, these guys are making a bunch of money now. They're serving a lot of people, and a lot of these folks are real philanthropists too. They're able to help a lot of people. There's a ton more on here, and I really don't have time to go through them all. We're going to have to get out of here today, and you'll have to come back next week and watch us again. And as we leave, we've got my final thought would be, you're never too old and you're never too young to start something new, and that change, I'll repeat this again, change is always good if you have your hands on the steering wheel. So hang on tight. And tune in next week as we broadcast live again on Verizon Channel 45 in Riverside County and Time Warner Cable Channel 0 and 126. Also on YouTube, streaming live. We should be right now. I think I'm on the wrong channel today, but it should be normally at smradio.org/YouTube. So join us next week. We loved having you here on the show. And thank you, Emily and Matthew, for joining us. Have a great day, everyone.
All right.
Thank you.
Whoa.